2025 has been shaping up to be a pretty exciting backpacking gear in terms of new gear that we're testing out on the channel. In this video, we got a bunch of even more new backpacking gear we are testing out. And we're gonna start out with a piece of gear I honestly never thought that I would get. And I fully admit, I actually went and bought and paid for this one. This was not sent to me. I paid my own money. I went into a store, picked it up. That is the Hilltop Chair Zero. I previously used the Get Out Gear backpacking chair. There's a couple things with that chair in particular that I didn't like. Now, when it comes to backpacking chairs, the Chair Zero is like the standard bearer for ultralight chairs, like a full chair you can sit in. This guy comes in at just under a pound. No other backpacking chair out there is even close when it comes to the weight. That was a primary reason why I went with the Chair Zero, just, you know, shave some weight out of my kit if I'm going to be taking a chair. And it was on sale. I was lucky enough to find it at my local MEC on sale, and I didn't have to pay full price. But we're going with a Hilltop Chair Zero for our backpacking chair this year. Now, if you know ultralight backpacks at all, I guarantee you have seen and heard of Hyperlight Mountain Gear and their bomb-proof, incredible ultralight backpacks. I finally got my hands on one. This is the Hyperlight Mountain Gear Southwest 55 liter. This is my first go at a full Dyneema backpack, so it's got the waterproof properties that you would expect with Dyneema and all the awesome qualities and features you would expect from Hyperlight Mountain Gear. They advertise this pack as carrying up to 40 pounds, and in my testing so far, I've had about 30 pounds in there, and it actually carried extremely comfortably. The one thing I was unsure of with this pack is it has no load lifters. And for a pack that has like stays inside with like a suspension and is supposed to transfer down to your hips, not having load lifters, I wasn't really sure if I was gonna like that, but I've actually been pleasantly surprised with the backpack, even with without the load lifters. And the Southwest 55 here comes in at 32 ounces for the weight of the backpack. The harness and suspension carries very comfortably. The shoulder straps are sufficiently padded. You know, the waist belt carries very nice. If there's one gripe that I do have with the bag, that's the piece that's right up against your back is just a piece of Dyneema. And I feel like on a long, warmer day, that is just gonna be like sweat city. But very, very happy with the Hyperlight Mountain Gear backpack and really look forward to getting some testing with this out on trail. I have added my ULA shoulder pocket here. This is just like one of those shoulder strap pockets that I picked up for my ULA Ohm. It's universal, will hook up to pretty much any backpack, and I just plan on switching this from whichever pack I'm going to be using next. And next trip up, it's going to be the Southwest 55. Now, as I'm talking about my backpack here that I'm going to be testing out for the 2025 season, an addition I'm making to my gear loadout, not super substantial, but it is something that I have preached for years, and that is not using dry bags and going to a pack liner. I finally decided to go for it and pick up one of those Nylaflume pack liners. So that's what I'm gonna be going with here. It's just one of those clear plastic bags that like all the thru hikers and long distance hikers are using as their pack liner. They're very, very lightweight. They come in at 0.8 ounces. They're supposed to be stronger than most garbage bags and compactor bags. So looking forward to seeing how well this performs for me out on trail. A little bit of weight savings. It saves me like almost 2 ounces from the compactor bag I was using before. Footwear is an area that I'm making another change in 2025. And I'm going with the newest iteration of the Ultralight Peak that is currently the Ultralight Peak 9. This is an upgrade for me from the Ultralight Peak 6. I tried the 7s and I briefly tried the 8s. Neither of those worked for me. I just found durability issues with those shoes in particular. And I stuck with the Lone Peak 6s for the last couple of years. It's got a much better toe cap at the end. And you know, it's got a little bit better puncture resistance on the sides here. Really, really happy with this shoe so far. I mean, I've only got like, you know, maybe, 15 to 20 kilometers of, just walking in the Edmonton River Valley wearing these shoes here. But I do have a backpacking trip coming up very shortly, and I will be rocking these. And these are what I'm going to be going with on my feet for the 2025 summer, the Ultralight Peak 9.0s. Now, one of the most substantial changes that we are making in 2025 is the addition of another Dyneema shelter. and we've got our hands on a Hyperlight Mountain Gear Ultimate 2. Now this tent here is going to be for my backpacking trips when it is my dog Wanda and myself. This is going to be the direct replacement for Little Red or our 1.5P 3FUL Leaning Tower of Pisa tent that we had previously used. Just the pyramid tent itself from Hyperlight Mountain Gear comes in at 19.1 ounces. And the dimensions inside are 83 inches wide, 107 inches long, and 64 inches tall. This tent really is massive inside for a two-person shelter. It does come with the possibility of getting a bunch of different inner tents from Hyperlight Mountain Gear. I didn't get any of the inner tents that you can order for the tent. I've just decided to use the inner bug net from my 1.5P 3FUL Leaning Tower of Pisa, or the 1.5P Lanshan tent. The internal floor space of this shelter makes it so that inner works perfectly. It saved me a couple $100. The inners for these tents from Hyperlight Mountain Gear are pretty expensive. It's kind of one of the big drawbacks. Any gear from Hyperlight Mountain Gear is very, very pricey, but the inner tent from my 3FUL tent fits perfectly inside here, and it is the perfect inner tent for Wanda and myself. So like I said, this is the shelter I'm going to be going with when I take my dog with me. This configuration here that I have it set up in with the 3FUL bug net and the Ultimate 2 shelter comes in at 2.08 pounds for the shelter system. The Lanshan 1.5P setup that we were using previously came in at about 2.6 pounds, so saves us about half a pound, and it's just that much bigger. Like, the vestibule we're gonna have with this shelter is massive. You could definitely like sleep a full other person under here if you needed to. And the last piece of gear that we are gonna talk about in this video, we're gonna talk briefly about it. I'm not even able to fully test out this piece of gear currently because of the time of year that I got it. But this sleeping pad right here is the Sea to Summit Etherlight XR Pro. This is the 7.4 R value winter rated Etherlight sleeping pad from Sea to Summit. Like I said, due to the time of year that I got this sleeping pad, just due to some shipment issues coming from Sea to Summit, I just got this sleeping pad recently, and it's a little too late in the year or early in the year, however you want to look at it. But we are into spring/summer territory, and testing out a winter pad in those kind of conditions just isn't really going to work out. So I'm not going to be able to test out the temperature rating of this pad, but I can say from my testing, the comfort of this sleeping pad is awesome. If you're a fan of the Sea to Summit Etherlight line, you know, I came from an Etherlight XT and really like that pad. This one is just as comfortable, and it's warmer for those winter rated conditions. So a awesome, exciting sleeping pad to look forward to for next year for our winter backpacking trips. I am not the only one who got new backpacking gear this year. Mr. Maddox also got some new gear that he's pretty excited about. We've shot a couple different videos showcasing some of that gear. You'll find those here and here. So check out either one of those when you're done with this one. I'm sure you'll find some gear in there you guys will enjoy. And as always, guys, I am Maddie. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Let's go Oilers! Woo!